This is Matt from MGMT Boston. On this episode of The Lantern, I'm with Bryan House, the CEO of e-commerce leader Elastic Path. Bryan's a longtime leader of the Boston ecosystem, so super excited to chat with him today. First, most important question, Bryan, what are you building at Elastic Path?
Sure, thanks Matt, great to be here. So at Elastic Path, we have a composable commerce platform to power stores and e-commerce shopping experiences. And right now our focus is on shifting from composable commerce to really an intelligent commerce future, an AI-powered future to help in the development of new e-commerce stores and platforms and address new problems, particularly in the B2B e-commerce space.
So clearly a lot of new solutions, also like the entire e-commerce landscape changing rapidly, I'm sure. What's going on in your company as we head into the rest of 2025 that you're excited about that you want to share with the Boston startup community?
It's been a fascinating time to watch the impact of AI and e-commerce.
Sure.
We're seeing the rise of agentic commerce come very, very quickly, and there's lots of questions on what does the future of shopping look like. We have moved from, is it search-based in Google?
Right.
Is it go to marketplaces like Amazon? To now, does it go to agents? And does suddenly OpenAI and ChatGPT becomes the future of shopping? I think all these things are questions to be answered. For us, really what we're focused on, we help companies that have complex selling situations, complex catalogs and B2B environments, things like custom furniture, custom windows, T-Mobile with phones. And so really it's about how do we solve hard problems faster for our customers. You know, one of the things that we're really excited about in this idea of intelligent commerce is the changing dynamics of what's important to a buyer. When you're in Google, it's links for keywords. In sort of the ChatGPT world, it really could be really in-depth product information. I've heard someone describe it as an 80-page PDF for every product because you're training the models on how to find you.
Sure.
And so we're providing tools to orchestrate that data management and to help the LLMs better understand our customers' products so they can accelerate some of these shopping experiences.
Yeah. An evolving and deepening roadmap for sure.
Yep.
Now, one of the reasons I was excited to meet with Bryan today is your deep operating history, from Acquia to Neural Magic, now Elastic Path, and a few others that I'm definitely missing.
Sure.
What have you learned building technology companies that you would pass back to other builders in the ecosystem about what it takes to reach enterprise level scale?
A couple of things stand out. So one is I'm a big believer in sort of non-traditional paths, right? My background, I brewed beer professionally for 8 years at Boston Beer Works, which was right across the street from Fenway Park. So it had nothing to do with software. And I tell people all the time that everything I learned that I use today from a product storytelling point of view, I learned as a brewer, right? Because you were out selling craft beer to people who are Bud Light drinkers across 30,000 of them 80 days a year across the street. So you had to convince them why they should take the risk.
Sure.
And so that's served me really well. So I like that. And one of the things that I think is super important when building a company is sort of embracing risk. You're always operating with ambiguity and imperfect information. And that's true on product and strategy decisions, but also really important on people. I've been at plenty of companies that prioritize pedigree or history and experience, and they sort of fail to recognize the importance of grit and hustle and people who just want to have something to prove and want to take a risk on them. And I honestly have found that those people have been the highest performers I've ever worked with. So that piece of sort of like the cultural DNA, if you will, when you're hiring has become so important. And the best people I worked with all sort of pass that test, if you will.
Yeah, that's great advice for all builders out there. And last but not least, like how can we help you here in Boston? How can we help Elastic grow beyond?
Right now, what's exciting about the Boston ecosystem is obviously there's a great community here and it's very diverse. I think more diverse than some ways some of the other sort of tech centers around the country. I was just reading an interesting article with Nick Clegg, formerly of Facebook, in The Guardian, and he was like, you know, Silicon Valley was so homogenous, right? And so that's definitely a strength of the Boston ecosystem. So what we are looking for is really interesting go-to-market ideas and go-to-market hacking, right? Like the way enterprises buy software has changed so dramatically over the course of my career, even the last 3 or 4 years. It's been incredible. And then certainly AI talent. The people who are deep into it and understand it and how to apply it in sort of real world scenarios is critical for us. So those are the things that we're looking for in Boston.
Definitely. This is Bryan House, the CEO of Elastic Path, Matt from MGMT Boston on this episode of The Lantern. Thanks so much for joining us.
Matt, thanks for having me.